Hey guys, I have to react today to the hearings on TikTok. So we're going to watch those right now live because let's face it, I'm an old guy. I don't have TikTok, okay? I just got Twitter and Instagram uh, this year, and I'm failing at that. There's just too much. I just cannot. I try my best, and that's why I'm sporadic. But I can't even imagine having TikTok. I just don't have the bandwidth for all of this stuff. So I'm really curious because all of these lawmakers are going to question the TikTok's CEO and find out what they think, and they could potentially ban TikTok. Is that something that you guys want? There are 150 million people in America that have TikTok. How can you ban a social media unless there is a reason that you know, security reasons, I guess. So, let's watch that. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. We're about ready to start here.
Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to address the guest in the audience. First of all, thank you for coming. We think engaged citizens are welcome and a valuable part of the political process. I do want to remind the guest in the audience that the chair is obliged under the House rules and the rules of the committee to maintain order and preserve decorum in the committee room. I know that we have deep feelings on these issues and that we all may not agree on everything, but I ask that we abide by these rules and be respectful of our audience members, our viewers, and our witnesses.
Dude, does that guy look
Chair
like Hunter
appreciates the
Biden
audience
back behind him?
cooperation in maintaining order as we have a full discussion on these important issues. The chair recognizes herself for 5
that's
minutes
funny.
for an opening statement.
Looks like Hunter Biden.
Mr. Chu, you are here because the American people need the truth about the threat TikTok poses to our national and personal security. TikTok collects nearly every data point imaginable, from people's location to what they type and copy, who they talk to, biometric data, and more. Even if they've never been on TikTok, your trackers are embedded in sites across the web. TikTok surveils us all. And the Chinese Communist Party is able to use this as a tool to manipulate America as a whole.
So does
We
Facebook.
do not trust TikTok will ever embrace American values, values for freedom, human rights, and innovation. TikTok has
Twitter.
repeatedly chosen the path for more control, more surveillance, and more manipulation. Your platform should be banned. I expect today you'll say anything to avoid this outcome, like you are 100% responsible for what TikTok does, that you suddenly endorse a national data privacy standard, that Project Texas is more than a marketing scheme, that TikTok doesn't harm our innocent children, or that your ties to the Chinese Communist Party through ByteDance is just a myth. We aren't buying it. In fact, when you celebrate the 150 million American users on TikTok, it emphasizes the urgency for Congress to act. That is 150 million Americans that CCP can collect sensitive information on and control what we ultimately see, hear, and believe. TikTok has repeatedly been caught in the lie that it does not answer to the CCP through ByteDance. Today, the CCP's laws require Chinese companies like ByteDance to spy on their behalf. That means any Chinese company must grant the CCP access and manipulation capabilities as a design feature. Right now, ByteDance is under investigation by the DOJ for surveilling American journalists, both digital activity and physical movements through TikTok. We also know that many of your employees still report directly to Beijing. Internal recordings reveal there is a backdoor for China to access user data across the platform. Your employees said, quote, everything is seen in China. A gateway to spy is not the only way TikTok and ByteDance can do the bidding of the CCP. TikTok has helped erase events and people China wants the world to forget. It's even censored an American teenager who exposed CCP's genocide and torture of Uyghur Muslims. The facts show that ByteDance is beholden to the CCP, and ByteDance and TikTok are one and the same. TikTok also targets our children. The For You algorithm is a tool for TikTok to own their attention and prey on their innocence. Within minutes of creating an account, your algorithm can promote suicide, self-harm, and eating disorders to children. It encourages challenges for them to put their lives in danger and allows adults to prey on our beautiful, beloved daughters. It's also a portal for drug dealers to sell illicit fentanyl that China has banned.
Oh my goodness,
yet it's helping Mexican cartels produce, send across our border, and poison our children. In China, the CCP proactively prohibits this type of TikTok content that promotes death and despair to kids. From the data it collects to the content it controls, TikTok is a grave threat of foreign influence in American life.
Boring.
It's been said it's like allowing the Soviet Union the power to produce Saturday morning cartoons during the Cold War.
Ask him some real questions.
But much more powerful and much more dangerous. Banning your platform will address the immediate threats. Make no mistake, this committee is also looking to the future. America needs to be prepared to stop the next technological tool or weapon China will use.
All right. I gotta pause. Isn't TikTok videos that you guys put out there, that people put out there, videos of themselves, like shorts and different things like that? I mean, come on. How is TikTok causing people to commit suicide and get addicted to drugs and all this stuff? This is just ridiculous right now. But I'm going to reserve my thoughts. I've got to stay neutral. I've got to try to... No, I'm not. She needs to ask questions. I can't be neutral on this, because if I was that CEO right now, I'd be going, oh, please, please. And get to the heart of what you really are meaning, people. Just say, I don't want the Communist Party China surveilling us or something, right? Let's start there. Let's start with actual stuff, not, oh, the videos on there are causing kids to get addicted to fentanyl. Now, maybe I'm completely stupid on this, and I don't know, because I am ignorant. I'm an ignorant old guy that doesn't watch a lot of news. So you guys might know a lot of other things, that some person killed themselves somewhere. Some person was addicted to drugs somewhere, and it was TikTok's fault. Here we go. Sorry. Let's go. Go.
Used for its own strategic gain. We must prevent any app, website, and platform like TikTok from ever spying on Americans again. And we must provide the strongest protections possible for our children. That is why this committee is leading on a national privacy and data security standard. It restricts sensitive American data from reaching our adversaries to begin with, and what big tech and data brokers collect, process, store, and sell. It makes it illegal for any platform to track and target children under 17. Mr. Chu, the committee has requested that TikTok appear before us for a long time. For those we serve, we're glad the day has finally come. Today, the world is watching.
Wow.
ByteDance is watching. The Chinese Communist Party is watching. But the answers you owe are to the American people, a free people who cherish their God-given, unalienable rights to life,
and reacting,
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. They deserve the truth. Complete honesty is the standard and the law you are being held to before this committee, as we seek to get answers and a full understanding of what happens at TikTok under your watch. Thank you. Chair now recognizes the ranking member, Mr. Pallone, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And let me say that I
let him
agree with
respond,
much
please,
of what you just said. and I certainly appreciate your enthusiasm and your commenting on being a mother and concerned about children, and I am glad that we are having this hearing today. Big tech has transformed the information superhighway into a super spreader of harmful content, invasive surveillance practices, and addictive and damaging design features. Data is big tech's most valuable commodity, and by collecting far more user data than they need, big tech platforms can use, share, and sell information to generate billions of dollars in revenue. Today, the American people are powerless to stop this invasion of their privacy,
Mr.
and we can't
Pallone.
wait any longer to pass comprehensive national privacy legislation that puts people back in control of their data. We must hold big tech accountable for its actions, and transparency is critical to that accountability. In the past several Congresses, this committee has heard from senior executives of other social media platforms about troubling and repeated instances where they put profits over people. Now, today we intend to bring more transparency to TikTok, which is controlled by its Beijing communist-based parent company, ByteDance. And while TikTok videos provide a new fun way for people to express their creativity and enjoy the videos of others, the platform also threatens the health, privacy, and security of the American people. And I'm not convinced that the benefits outweigh the risks that it poses to Americans in its present form. More than 130 million people in the United States use TikTok every month, including 2/3 of American teenagers. TikTok collects and compiles vast troves of valuable personal information to create an addictive algorithm that is able to predict with uncanny accuracy which videos will keep users scrolling, even if the content is harmful, inaccurate, or feeds destructive behavior or extremist beliefs. Now, the combination of TikTok's Beijing communist-based China ownership and its popularity exacerbates its danger to our country and to our privacy. The Chinese Communist government can compel companies based in Beijing, like TikTok, to share data with the Communist government through existing Beijing law or coercion. National security experts are sounding the alarm, warning that the Chinese Communist government could require TikTok to compromise device security, maliciously access American user data, promote pro-communist propaganda, and undermine American interests. Disinformation campaigns could be launched by the Chinese Communist government through TikTok, which has already become rife with misinformation and disinformation, illegal activities, and hate speech. A recent report found that 20% of TikTok search results on prominent news topics contain misinformation. Social media's profitability depends on growth and engagement. More eyes on their content for longer time leads to more advertising dollars and revenue generation. Addictive algorithms are fine-tuned to optimize growth and engagement without necessarily taking into account potential harms to users. Children and teens are particularly vulnerable. Frequent online use of interactive media on digital devices is associated with increased levels of depression among middle and high school students. Research has found that TikTok's addictive algorithms recommend videos to teens that create and exacerbate feelings of emotional distress, including videos promoting suicide, self-harm, and eating disorders. Public outrage and hollow apologies alone are not going to rein in big tech. Congress has to enact laws protecting the American public from such online harms. And we simply cannot wait any longer to pass the comprehensive privacy legislation that I authored with then-ranking member, now Chair Rogers, last Congress, that overwhelmingly advanced out of the committee. It ensures that companies, wherever they live, it ensures, I should say, that consumers, wherever they live in this country, will have meaningful control over their personal information. Our legislation establishes baseline data minimization requirements, ensuring that companies only collect, process, and transfer data necessary to provide a service. And it provides heightened privacy protections for children and teenagers. So I think it's time to make this legislation the law of the land. And we also have to examine the reforms needed to Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. The liability shield for social media platforms has for too long been abused and led to a lack of accountability for social media platforms. So I hope we can find a bipartisan path forward on that issue too, and I think you're having a hearing next week on it, so we can stop the very real harms to our country and democracy under the current law. I'd look forward to the discussion today as we continue to bring accountability to big tech. And let me say to Mr. Chu, I know this is about TikTok, but I am focusing all my attention not only on TikTok, but on these concerns wide concerns about social media and the protection of privacy.
Yeah, me too.
With that, I yield back. Thank you again, Madam Chair, for having this very important hearing.
Our witness today is Mr. Shou Chu, Chief Executive Officer of TikTok. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Okay, I have to pause it for a second. Now, I agree that, it's so hard, you guys. I believe in freedom. I want freedom to do what I want to do, okay? That's why I don't live in another country, because I want to have freedom. But we are losing our freedoms in America very quickly. But on the other side of my brain, this guy, you can't have people killing people on social media. You cannot have harm. There has to be some responsibility that the company has a policy to not allow people to be harmed, right? I mean, if they allow money to get in the way, they'll allow anything. They'll allow someone's head to be cut off just so they can make $1 million. And I don't think we can allow that. There has to be some rules and regulations. This guy, I don't know who this guy is, Mr. Pallone, but he did say, I want this to be all of social media. He is focusing on TikTok, but he wants all social media to have some sort of regulation a little bit. At the same time, though, I don't like companies having regulation where they're just one-sided, when they were completely suppressing the Republican Party and the conservatives during the election and stuff. That was just not good. We can't have that kind of stuff going on. But I don't know. I'm torn right now. We're just going to keep watching this, and we're going to see where this goes. Because I know nothing about TikTok. All right? And I know that I'm sitting there going, oh, come on, man. I'm normally a positive person. But when it gets down to business like this, I got to start thinking, do I want business or do I want regulation? I'm a businessman, and I live with a lot of regulation, and sometimes it drives me nuts. At the same time, you have to protect the public. The lawmakers are people that try to protect the public from snake oil salesmen, So, okay, let's go. Go.
Thank you. Chair Rogers, Ranking Member Pallone, members of the committee, thank you for your time. I am Shou Chu, and I'm from Singapore. That's where I was born, as were my parents. And after
nice.
serving in Singapore's military, I moved to the UK to attend college, and then here to the US to attend business school. I actually met my wife here. By the way, she was just born a few miles away from here in Virginia. 2 years ago, I became the CEO of TikTok. Today, we have more than 1 billion monthly active users around the world, including over 150 million in the United States. Our app is a place where people can be creative and curious, and where close to 5 million American businesses, mostly small businesses, go to find new customers and to fuel their growth. Now, as TikTok has grown, we've tried to learn the lessons of companies that have come before us, especially when it comes to the safety of teenagers. While the vast majority of people on TikTok are over 18, one of our fastest growing demographics are people over 35. We spent a lot of time adopting measures to protect teenagers. Many of those measures are firsts for the social media industry. We forbid direct messaging for people under 16, and we have a 16-minute watch time by default for those under 18. We have a suite of family pairing tools so that parents can participate in their teens' experience and make the choices that are right for their family. We want TikTok to be a place where teenagers can come to learn, which is why we recently launched a feed that exclusively features educational videos about STEM. STEM videos already have over 116 billion views on TikTok. And I think TikTok is inspiring a new generation to discover a passion for math and science. Now, I would also like to talk about national security concerns that you have raised, that we take very, very seriously. Let me start by addressing a few misconceptions about ByteDance, of which we are a subsidiary. ByteDance is not owned or controlled by the Chinese government. It's a private company. 60% of the company is owned by global institutional investors. 20% is owned by the founder, and 20% owned by employees around the world. ByteDance has 5 board members. 3 of them are American. Now, TikTok itself is not available in mainland China. We're headquartered in Los Angeles and in Singapore, and we have 7,000 employees in the US today. Still, we have heard important concerns about the potential for unwanted foreign access to US data and potential manipulation of the TikTok US ecosystem. Our approach has never been to dismiss or trivialize any of these concerns. We have addressed them with real action. Now, that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, building what amounts to a firewall that seals off protected US user data from unauthorized foreign access. The bottom line is this: American data stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel. We call this initiative Project Texas. That's where Oracle is headquartered. Today, US TikTok data is stored by default in Oracle servers. Only vetted personnel operating in a new company called TikTok US Data Security can control access to this data. Now, additionally, we have plans for this company to report to an independent American board with strong security credentials. Now, there's still some work to do. We have legacy US data sitting in our servers in Virginia and in Singapore. We're deleting those, and we expect that to be complete this year. When that is done, all protected US data will be under the protection of US law and under the control of the US-led security team. This eliminates the concern that some of you have shared with me that TikTok user data can be subject to Chinese law. This goes further, by the way, than what any other company in our industry have done. We will also provide unprecedented transparency and security for the source code for the TikTok app and recommendation engine. Third-party validators like Oracle and others will review and validate our source code and algorithms. This will help ensure the integrity of the code that powers what Americans see on our app. We will further provide access to researchers, which helps them study and monitor our content ecosystem. Now, we believe we are the only company that offers this level of transparency. Now, trust is about actions we take. We have to earn that trust with decisions we make for our company and our products. The potential security, privacy, content manipulation concerns raised about TikTok are really not unique to us. The same issues apply to other companies. We believe what's needed are clear, transparent rules that apply broadly to all tech companies. Ownership is not at the core of addressing these concerns. Now, as I conclude, there are more than 150 million Americans who love our platform, and we know we have a responsibility to protect them, which is why I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users. Number one, we will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us. Number two, we will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access. Number three, TikTok will remain a place for free expression and will not be manipulated by any government. And fourth, we will be transparent and we will give access to third-party independent monitors to remain accountable for our commitments. I'll be grateful for any feedback that you have, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, I've got to pause it. Those guys in the front row are so interesting. Those are all like bodyguards. You could tell those guys would kill in 2 seconds. They're not looking anywhere. They're just kind of looking around. They don't care what the content is. They're just hired guns. Those guys are studs. That's just the bottom line. Because every person behind them is, I mean, they all look like they're smart people and they're shorter. well, maybe it's because the camera's closer to these guys. I don't know, but these guys all look like studs, and the people in the back are shaking their heads and rolling their eyes and stuff as he's talking. They have emotion. These guys, these first four guys, there's no emotion whatsoever. They're just staring, and it's like, hey, we don't care who this is. We're just getting paid $50,000 to protect this guy's butt. It's pretty stinking interesting. But those guys are studly, man. You could tell. You could tell. But what he did say, it sounds good so far. I didn't hear anything different from what Facebook would say or anybody else. He wants to protect people, and he wants to have this platform, and well, let's just see what they say now. Go.
As you know, the testimony that you're about to give is subject to Title 18, Section 1001 of the United States Code. As you state in your testimony, ByteDance is TikTok's parent company. Is it accurate to say that you are in regular communication with the CEO of ByteDance, Leon Robo?
Chair Rogers, yes, I am in
Thank you.
communication with him.
Okay.
Okay.
Kelly Zhang is the CEO of ByteDance China, overseeing Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok. Are you in regular communication with Kelly?
I'm not in regular communication with her.
The ByteDance editor-in-chief is Zhong Fuping, correct?
I believe so.
And Wu Shugang is Beijing ByteDance technology board member and also an official of the Cyberspace Administration in China. Is this correct?
I believe so. They are not in the right.
Thank you. All of these individuals work or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party, are at the highest levels of leadership at ByteDance, a company where you previously served as the chief financial officer and where you regularly communicate with their CEO. TikTok has told us that you weren't sharing data with the CCP, but leaked audio from within TikTok has proven otherwise. TikTok told us that you weren't tracking the geolocation of American citizens. You were. TikTok told us you weren't spying on journalists. You were. In your testimony, you state that ByteDance is not beholden to the CCP. Again, each of the individuals I listed are affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party, including Zhong Fuping, who was reported to be the Communist Party secretary of ByteDance, and who has called for the party committee to, quote, take the lead across all party lines to ensure the algorithm is enforced by, quote, correct political direction. Just this morning, the Wall Street Journal reported that the CCP is opposed to a forced sale of TikTok by ByteDance, quoting a CCP spokesman as saying the Chinese government would make a decision regarding any sale of TikTok. So the CCP believes they have the final say over your company. I have zero confidence in your assertion that ByteDance and TikTok are not beholden to the CCP. Next question.
Wow, she's
Heating
good.
content is a way of promoting and moderating content. In your current or previous positions within Chinese companies, have employees engaged in heating content for users outside of China? Very quickly, yes or no?
Our heating process is approved by our local teams in the various countries.
The answer is yes, thank you.
Okay, yes.
Have any moderation tools been used to remove content on TikTok associated with the Uyghur genocide? Yes or no?
We do not remove that kind of content. TikTok is a place of freedom of expression. And Chair,
Yes.
just like I said, if you use our app, you can go on it and you will see a lot of users around the world
Thank you.
expressing
Thank
content
you.
on that topic and many others.
Thank you. What about the massacre in Tiananmen Square? Yes or no?
In the 80s?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The massacre in Tiananmen Square.
That kind of content is available on our platform. You can go
Yeah.
and search it.
I will
YouTube.
remind you that making false or misleading statements to Congress is a federal crime.
I understand. Again, if
Okay,
you go on our
thank
platform, you
Next
will find that
question.
content.
Okay, thank you. Reclaiming my time, can you say with 100% certainty that ByteDance or the CCP cannot use your company or its divisions to heat content to promote pro-CCP messages for an act of aggression against Taiwan?
We do not promote or remove content at the request
guess
of the
the question-
Chinese government.
the question
And
is,
we will
are you-
replace.
The question is, are you 100% certain that they cannot use your company to promote such messages?
It is our commitment to this committee and all our users that we will keep this free from any manipulation by
Can't-
any
okay,
government.
If you can't say 100% certain, I take that as a no. As I previously referenced, TikTok spied on American journalists.
just
Can you
said
say with
no.
100% certainty that neither ByteDance nor TikTok employees can target other Americans with similar surveillance techniques?
Chair Rogers, I first of all disagree with the characterization that
He
it's
said
spying.
yes.
It was an internal
Surveillance?
investigation.
Yes or no? Can you do surveillance of other Americans?
We will protect the U.S. user data and fire it all from all unwanted foreign access. It's a commitment that we've given to the committee.
So I guess my question is, I wanted to hear you say with 100% certainty that neither ByteDance nor TikTok employees can target other Americans with similar surveillance techniques as you did with the journalist.
Again, I don't disagree with the characterization is surveillance, and we have given our commitments, Chair Rogers. The 4 commitments, I think it's our commitment that we will not be influenced by any government on these issues.
DOJ is investigating this surveillance right now. To the American people watching today, hear this: TikTok is a weapon by the Chinese Communist Party to spy on you, manipulate what you see, and exploit for future generations. A ban is only a short-term way to address TikTok, and a data privacy bill is the only way to stop TikTok from ever happening again in the United States. I yield back. I now yield to the ranking member for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me just start out by saying, Mr. Chu, that I don't find what you suggested with Project Texas and this firewall that's being suggested to whoever will be acceptable to me. In other words, I still believe that the Beijing Communist government will still control and have the ability to influence
Maybe.
what you do. And so this idea, this Project Texas, is simply not acceptable. According to a recent report, TikTok is on target to make between $15 and $18 billion in revenue this year. Is that an accurate forecast?
Congressman, as a private company, we are
What's
not
that have
sharing
to
our
do?
I
revenue
thought
numbers
that's what you would
publicly.
say. How much money will TikTok make by delivering personalized advertisements
What's that have to
just
do
to
with
your
anything?
users in the United States? Will you give me that information?
Again, Congressman, respectfully, as a
I
private
thought
company,
that's
we're
what
not
you would
disclosing
say.
that.
Look, the impression you're giving, and I know, I can understand why you're trying to give that impression, is that, that you're just performing some kind of public service here, right? I mean, this is a benign company that's just performing
No.
a public service. Maybe that's not what you're saying, but I don't buy it, right? My concern here is primarily about the privacy issue, the fact that TikTok is making all kinds of money by gathering private information about Americans that they don't need for their business purposes, and then they sell it. And I mentioned this legislation that the chair and I have that would minimize data collection and make it much more difficult for TikTok and other companies to do that. So if you want to make some commitments today, I'll ask you to make some commitments with regard to this legislation. And, you're going to tell me, well, the bill isn't passed, and so therefore I don't have to do it. But, you say you're benign, you want to do good things for the public. So let me ask you, why not, what about a commitment that says that you won't sell the data
my
that you
goodness.
collect? Would you commit to that, not selling the
Of
data
course
you
not.
collect?
Congressman, I believe we don't sell data to any data brokers.
You don't sell to anyone.
We don't sell data to data brokers.
I didn't ask you data brokers. You sell it to anyone. In other words, under our bill, you could only use the data for your own purposes.
Who is
not
this Mr.
to sell it to
Pallone?
anyone. Would you commit to not selling your data to anyone?
Congressman, I actually am in support of some rules.
I
around
didn't ask
privacy.
you whether rules. I asked you whether the company, TikTok,
Okay,
would
hold on.
commit
I got to
not
pause.
selling its data.
Pause. Who is this Mr. Pallone? Who is Mr. Pallone? Okay. He's a Democrat Congress guy. Okay. I liked what Mr. Pallone was saying earlier, that we need some rules, maybe for, maybe if it's going to be a company, it can't be the almighty dollar that rules everything. You can't chop people's heads off for money. and so that everybody watches it and people make money. So I understand there's got to be some rules. But at the same time, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth in being a politician. Number one, he's letting Facebook do it. He lets Google do it. He lets every company on the planet is taking information from us. I was sitting in my car in San Diego. I was actually, you guys, this is crazy. I was sleeping in my car because I took my daughter out to college in San Diego and I didn't want to get a hotel, and I got an air mattress, put the seats down, and I was tired from moving her all day, and I just slept there in the parking lot of the college all night. And I put on Facebook or something. I was like, in my car, sleeping, taking my daughter to college. It was a good, nice night or whatever on my air mattress. I didn't say where I was. I didn't do anything. Next thing you know, my Google feed starts showing me articles going, did you know it's illegal to sleep in your car in San Diego? And I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't even say where I was. They got my GPS information. I put it on Facebook. I was just like, literally, they're harvesting information from me. Who knows where that goes? But all these news articles were coming out. Every news agency does it. Every social media company does it. This guy right here is doing it probably for his campaigns. Every business buys data. I mean, I know hundreds of them. We all do. Thousands of them, because we use it ourselves. If you own a business, you want to know. If you own a mattress business, you want to know who's had a mattress for 10 years. Guess what? They have data showing who's had a mattress for over 10 years. And then you can advertise to those people because they're probably going to need a new mattress. Oh, it's ridiculous. Unbelievable. And this guy is acting like TikTok is such a horrible company for wanting to make money. They all want to make money. They all are trying to get, we rely on Facebook. When I make an ad on Facebook, I get to choose. Okay, I want people within 25 miles of me. I want people that make at least this amount of money. I want people that are interested in this, and I have people that might be interested. I get to pick all that. So this guy's such a hypocrite. He's such a hypocrite. But that's just right now because of TikTok. If it boils down to security, where the Communist Party is going to influence our elections, and they can do that probably with this because obviously Twitter did it in the 2020 election. They suppressed everything conservative. And every news Elon Musk showed us all that stuff, how they're just suppressing it with algorithms and making everybody go away. And then once the election's done, then now we can let people come back a little bit, That is not good. So we have to have some regulation. I just don't know how far I want that regulation to go. But Mr. Pallone, you're a buffoon right now. These are dumb questions. Let's go.
Added to anyone and just using it for its own purposes internally.
I can get back to you on the
I'll
details.
get back to your
Back to
details.
me. All right. Another thing that's in our bill says that we would prohibit targeting marketing to people under the age of 17.
Oh.
Would you be willing to agree to prohibit targeted marketing to people, Americans under the age of 17?
Oh my gosh, that's even another buffoonish question. Okay? Nickelodeon. Does anybody ever heard of Nickelodeon, please? Or a cartoon channel, please? You telling me that I can't target kids under 17? I'm selling a Barbie doll, okay? Why can't I show them commercials about a Barbie doll? They're 8 and they're on TikTok because their parents allowed them on TikTok. How is the Communist Party going to get them with a Barbie doll? All right, Mr. Pallone buffoon.
Congressman, we have actually stricter rules for advertisers in terms of what they can show to our
So
users.
Yes.
do
under
you
the age of
prohibit
18.
would you be willing to prohibit targeted marketing to those under 17?
No.
That's what's in our bill.
I understand that there's some talk and some legislation around the country.
Well,
We're
again, I'm
studying
not
this.
interested, I wanted you to make that commitment without the legislation. Since you say you're a good company, you want to do good things, why not?
It's something we can look into and get
I'll get back
to.
to you
I
on that
appreciate
one.
that. Okay, we also have in our bill a requirement of heightened protection for sensitive data, particularly location and health data. Would you commit to not gathering or dealing with location or health data unless you get affirmative consent from the consumer? In other words, under our bill, those are categorized as sensitive, and unless
Oh my goodness. Let's say I'm typing in TikTok and I'm going, hey, I need some headache medication. That's what I need, headache medication. What can I use to get rid of a headache? Why can't he say, well, here's a couple pills over? Because they're trying to get the companies that are selling the Tylenol are paying them to get in front of people who have headaches. Why can't you do that? What is wrong with Mr. Pallone? Ugh. Yes, you're not collecting sensitive data on health, but if I type in something about my health, collect it all you want, because you know what? I want Advil. I have a headache, and I don't even know that Advil exists. But you're putting it in front of me now. And I now know that I can get rid of my headache.
a
Go.
person specifically says, I want you to collect that data, you wouldn't be able to, location and health data. Would you commit to that?
Congressman, in principle, I support that. Which, by the way, we do not collect precise GPS data at this point, and I do not believe we collect any health data.
All right, so would you be willing to
amazed.
make that commitment that from now on you won't collect location and health data without, what you're saying at all? Is that
Congressman,
a commitment?
this is data that's frequently collected by many other companies.
Yeah.
I know other companies do it. I don't think they should without affirmative consent. You said you want to be a good actor. So why not make that commitment to me today?
We're committed to be very transparent with our users about what we collect. I don't believe what we collect is more than most
You see,
players
my
in the
problem
industry.
here is you're trying to give the impression that you're going to move away from Beijing and the Communist Party. You're trying to give the impression that you're a good actor. But the commitments that we would seek to achieve those goals are not being made today. They're just not being made. You're going to continue to gather data, you're going to continue to sell data, you're going to continue to do all these things and continue to be under the aegis of the Communist Party through your organization that owns you. So in any case, thank you, Madam Chair.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes the gentleman.
Okay, I gotta pause it again. Do you guys know what freedom is? Freedom is freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. I want freedom. This guy is saying, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to collect data on certain things. You know what freedom is? I don't have to belong to TikTok. I do not belong to TikTok. Okay? They cannot harvest my information because I do not even have a TikTok account. I don't go in there and say, I have a headache. I need some Advil, right? Nobody can advertise to me because I have the freedom to not belong. So if you want to not give up any information that you type in on their own site, I don't care that Facebook or Google was sending me ads saying, hey, it's illegal to sleep in your car. Hey, guess what? I found out it was illegal to sleep in my car and I had no idea. Luckily, I was on private property, so it doesn't matter, okay? But I just don't see how far you can censor. Obviously, this is coming from a Democrat who wants to censor you, right? And he's going, oh, the Communist Party is so evil. They want to control your life. Well, what about you? What about you, Mr. Pallone? You want to control me too. If I want to belong to TikTok, I'm going to belong to TikTok. And I'm willing for them to take my information because if I don't want them to take it. I'll either A, not belong, or I won't type in there, I have a headache. I just don't get it. I just don't get it how these hypocrites out there in our government, we're saying that we need to protect the public, but his entire argument was stupid. The first lady, Mrs. Rogers, was awesome. She said, hey, the top 3 people in your company or whatever, in this ByteDance or whatever, they're Communist Party leaders. Okay, they belong to the Communist Party. So that's a little concerning because I don't want that, so that might have some regulation around it. But when you get into his argument, it has nothing to do with anything. It's just regulation at its core. Go.
Next is Mr. Burgess for 5 minutes.
I thank the chair. Thank you, Mr. Chu, for joining us today. I think we've heard you say multiple times that TikTok is not a Chinese company, that ByteDance is not a Chinese company. But according to an article in today's Wall Street Journal, quoting here, China's Commerce Ministry said Thursday that a sale or divestiture of TikTok will involve exporting technology that has to be approved by the Chinese government. Continuing to quote, the reported efforts by the Biden administration would severely undermine global investors' confidence in the U.S., said Xu Tuting, a ministry spokeswoman. Continuing to quote, if that is true, China will firmly oppose it, she said, referring to the forced sale. So despite your assertions to the contrary, China certainly thinks it is in control of TikTok and its software.
Wow.
Is that not correct?
Congressman, TikTok is not available in mainland China. And today we're headquartered in Los Angeles and Singapore. But I'm not saying that the founders of ByteDance are not Chinese, nor am I saying that we don't make use of Chinese employees, just like many other companies around the world. We do use their expertise on some engineering projects.
But according to their ministry spokeswoman, it would be a divestiture of exporting technology from China. So they, again, China thinks they own it.
Now that's
even though you
concerning.
do not.
That's
Madam Chair, I'd
concerning.
just like to ask unanimous consent to put today's Wall Street Journal
Without
article
objection, so ordered.
into the record. And Mr. Chu, I wouldn't ask you to discuss any privileged attorney-client materials, but did anyone aside from your lawyers assist you in preparation for today's hearing?
I prepared for this hearing with my team here in DC.
Did anyone at ByteDance directly provide input, help, or instruction for your
Now,
testimony
these are
today?
good questions.
Congressman, this is a very high-profile hearing. My phone is full of well wishes. But I prepared for this hearing with my team here in DC.
Are you willing to share who helped prepare you for this hearing with the committee? And you can do that
I
in
can
writing.
follow up with you if
Okay.
you like.
Can you guarantee that no one at ByteDance had a role in preparing you for today's
That's a
hearing?
good question.
Like I said, Congressman, this is a high-profile hearing. A lot of people around the world were sending me wishes and unsolicited advice, but I prepared for this hearing with my team here in DC.
Oh,
Are the attorneys representing TikTok also representing ByteDance?
Yes, I believe so.
okay.
What percentage of TikTok revenue does ByteDance retain? Just give me a ballpark estimate if you don't precisely know.
Congressman, like I said, as a private company, we are not prepared to disclose our financials in public today.
Oh,
But can we ask you to get back to us with a ballpark? We're not asking for the precise figures, but
I gotta pause this. Okay. I didn't realize that TikTok is a private company. If it was a public company traded on Wall Street, we would know everything about what they do. Okay? It's a private company, and we don't know who owns it. So if the Chinese government says we kind of own it and we will decide what happens with it, that changes my opinion a little bit on TikTok. However, oh man, it's such a hard one. Can you still have a private company? Yes, you can still have a private company. I'm okay with social media being a private company. I'm 100%, but there may be some regulation that may have to come in. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. I am so glad I'm not a politician because I do not have the answers. These are good questions here that he's asking specifically, how much is the Chinese government involved in your company, right? We don't care if Chinese companies own it, but how much is the government involved? And through this ByteDance, who are members of the Communist Party. This is interesting stuff here. All right, go.
So the committee can have some understanding of the percentage of TikTok revenue that ByteDance retains.
I understand the question. Respectfully, as a private company, we are not disclosing our financials today.
Prior to today's
I
hearing,
agree.
did anyone affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party discuss this hearing with you, or anyone else on TikTok senior management?
Congressman, since I've been CEO of this company, I have not had any discussions with Chinese government officials.
So but what about the Chinese Communist Party itself? Have any of those officials discussed this with you?
Like I said, I have not had any discussion with Chinese government officials. I don't know the political affiliation of everybody I speak to, so I can't verify the statement.
Oh, that was very good. Oh, this guy is literally like a pawn. If the Chinese Communist Party, he's been the CEO for 2 years. I just looked up ByteDance. ByteDance Limited is a Chinese internet technology company headquartered in Beijing and incorporated in the Cayman Islands, founded by Zhang Yiming, Lang Rubo, and a team of others in 2012. Okay, so they get this guy he's an American wife, he's a businessman. He comes in, they're headquartered now in LA, TikTok is, but ByteDance is this over the umbrella over TikTok. And they put these people in place and they're like, okay, this guy will take care of the US here, he'll take care. But what goes on in the ByteDance that owns it? And he just said, I don't know about all those people above me, what their affiliations are and what they do when they talk to the government of China. So he's a pawn. He's literally a pawn. And I don't think we'll get anything out of today from him because he is pro-America. But we don't know what's going above him. And he doesn't know what's going above him. Wow. Go.
Let me ask you a question in a different direction. A few weeks ago, this committee had a field hearing down in McAllen, Texas, and it was on the issue of fentanyl and illegal immigration. And one of our witnesses, Brandon Judd, a 25-year veteran Border Patrol agent, said that all social media platforms play a role in illegal immigration. That's one of the ways cartels advertise their services throughout the world and convince people to put themselves in their hands and come to the United States. The cartels all use social media platforms. Are you aware of this phenomenon?
Any content that promotes human abuse is violative of our community guidelines.
Yeah, who
which
cares?
dictates what is allowed and not allowed on our platform. We proactively identify and remove them from our platform.
Well, it would be very helpful if you would share with the committee examples of how you have removed people, because what we heard at the hearing was that TikTok was one of the platforms that recruits adolescents in the United States to help with transporting people who are in the country who've been trafficked into the country, as well as contraband substances. Would you help us with that, understanding who you have removed from your platform?
Congressman, I'll be delighted to check with my team and get back to yours.
Absolutely.
We
That
collaborate.
Mr. Burgess, not a good
Gentleman's
question,
time has
not a good
expired. Chair recognizes the lady from California, Ms. Eshu, for 5 minutes.
question. Miss SU.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Mr. Chu, thank you for being here
Ashu.
today. As members of Congress, our very first and top responsibility is to protect and defend. Protect and defend our Constitution and the national security of our country. So
Yep.
I view this entire issue, now there are many parts of it that are not part of our national security, in my view, but first and foremost for our national
Right.
security. So in examining TikTok breaking away from ByteDance, I'd like to ask you some questions about that and how a severance in terms of the relationship with ByteDance, how user data,
It's impossible.
American user data would be protected. Now, under Beijing's security laws, Article 7 compels companies to provide data. Article 10 makes the reach of the law extraterritorial. Now, this is very clear. I don't need to read all of it into the record, but those are the laws of the PRC. How does ByteDance, how does TikTok, rather, how do you convince the Congress of the United States that there can be a clean break? Why would the Chinese government sidestep their national law, including Article 7, Article 10, in terms of user data?
Congressman, thank you for the question. I'm glad you asked this. As I said in the opening statement, our plan is to move American data to be stored on American soil by the American company.
I understand that, but you're sidestepping, or I haven't read anything in terms of TikTok, how you can actually say, and you spoke in your opening statement about a firewall relative to the data. But the Chinese government has that data. How can you promise that that will move into the United States of America and be protected here?
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
Well, you know what?
I
find that actually preposterous.
I have
You've only been
looked
there
in,
2
I have
years,
seen no
man.
evidence of this happening. And in order to assure everybody here and all our users, our commitment is to move the data into the United States to be stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel. So the risk will be similar to any government going to an American company asking for data. If that,
Well,
Wow.
I'm one that doesn't believe that there is really a private sector in China. And when you look at their national law and what specifically these two articles, Article 7 and Article 10, are very clear. So I
absolutely true.
think that there
There's no
is a
private
real
sector.
problem relative to our national security about the protection of the user data. I don't believe that TikTok has, that you have said or done anything to convince us that information, the personal information of 150 million Americans, that the Chinese government is not going to give that up. So
Congressman,
can you tell me who writes the algorithms for TikTok?
today,
Yes, that is the best question right there. Because I was just thinking, I was just about ready to pause it to go, I don't care how much China harvests my data, right? I mean, I don't care if they know where I'm at. I don't care if they want to sell me headache medication. I don't care if, they know what I watch on TV. I don't care. But you know what I do care about? Is the algorithm. Who sets the algorithm? And can they swing opinions of a bunch of us through algorithms? Kind of like what happened with Twitter in the election, right? I mean, when you suppress a group of people and there's no other opinions out there but one, that is the one that becomes the mainstream. This is what we believe. It's like a brainwashing thing. So it can brainwash people if the Chinese government wants to put out. I mean, you can have wackos out there, literal wackos, and they will put them on the top with the algorithms, and everybody will think, oh, maybe I should be a wacko. I mean, I kind of believe what they're believing, and it's like, that's whacked out. That's not even like what you want to have in America. But they could do that. And this is becoming interesting. Good question, Miss Eshu.
The
Go.
algorithm that powers the US user experience is running in the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. Yes, initially there were parts of the source code, especially at the infrastructure layer, that doesn't touch the user experience. Now that's a collaborative global effort, including built by engineers in China, just like many other companies, by the way. The phone you use, the car you drive is a global collaborative effort.
Of course.
Now, but today, the business sites and the main parts of the code for TikTok is written by TikTok employees. And Congresswoman, what we are offering is third-party monitoring of our source code. I am not aware of any company, American companies or otherwise, that has actually done that. Because we are saying we want to give you transparency and rely on third parties to make sure that we get all the comfort that we need about the experience.
Well, my time is up, and I yield back. Thank you.
Lady yields back. Pleased to yield to the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Latta, for 5 minutes.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Unlike the Chinese Communist Party, the United States believes in individual freedom, innovation, and entrepreneurship. That is in part why Congress enacted Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Our goal is to promote growth of the online ecosystem in the United States and to protect companies from being held liable for good faith efforts to moderate their platforms. Last year, a federal judge in Pennsylvania found that Section 230 protected TikTok from being held responsible for the death of a 10-year-old girl who participated in a blackout challenge, also known as the choking challenge. TikTok actively pushes video on her feed. Unfortunately, this is one of the many devastating examples of children losing their lives because of content promoted by TikTok. Section 230 was never intended to shield companies like yours from amplifying dangerous and life-threatening content to children. Do you consider this to be good faith moderation?
Congressman, as a father myself, when I hear about the tragic deaths of
My
young
question
people,
is,
it's
do you
heartbreaking.
find that good faith moderation?
Well, Congressman, Section 230 is a very
Yes.
complex issue.
Yes or no?
We are very focused on safety, and
Okay,
all these
so
dangerous
I'm gonna have to
challenges
assume
are
that as a
removed when
no.
we find them.
Do you believe TikTok deserves this liability protection?
I'm sorry, Congressman.
Do you believe that TikTok deserves this liability protection under Section 230?
Congressman, as you pointed
No.
out, 230 has been very important.
Okay, I gotta pause it. Oh my goodness, Mr. Latta, you're so wrong on this. You're just an old guy. You're an old guy that's not thinking squarely here. You guys, right now, we have the privilege of knowing everything that happens in real time all the time. Yesterday, at our local high school, literally about a mile from me, a foreign exchange student is crossing the street. She's from Italy, in a crosswalk. A car hits her. She flies 20 feet and dies instantly. Everybody gets their phones out and they film it, and we have instant news. That instant news can go across the country instantly. And everybody's putting their videos up there on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever else there is out there, Telegram. I don't even know what all the things are out there. But all these videos go out. And we look at that and we go, wow, TikTok should monitor that because, this person got hit and this is a bad situation. And you know what? This situation might cause someone else a problem somewhere else in the world. And, like whatever this blackout thing is, the kids are watching videos and somebody does a blackout and all of a sudden they die and it goes viral and he's going, this poor girl did a blackout and died. Okay, well, there's 500 million people in the country and one person dies because they saw a video on YouTube and they thought, I'm going to try it, and they die. What about the guy that jumps his motorcycle over a bridge, over the Grand Canyon, he does a back double barrel flip on his motorcycle or his skateboard, and then someone dies. Oh my goodness, can you believe somebody copied that guy that did a barrel roll on his motorcycle and they died because of it? TikTok needs to monitor this because it's dangerous. It's dangerous. One person could die for being stupid by following something else that's kind of stupid, right? But the guy that might have done the double barrel roll that landed it, it was a professional. He probably, I just can't get with these old people's questions that are so stupid. Now, when he's talking about this bill or act that helps keep things, on TV and media in control, he's meaning things like pornographic stuff, cussing, different things I haven't read the bill, but we all know that you can't say certain words on TV. We all know that there's a decency that you have to have on TV. TikTok is not TV. It's somebody just filming somebody getting hit by a car. I mean, where do you take it? Do you make it TV? I don't know. All right, Mr. Lauder, please hurry up and get over with. Bye.
For freedom of expression on the internet is one of the commitments we have given to this committee and our users, and I do think it's important to preserve that. But companies should be raising the bar on safety.
Let me follow up.
I really agree with that.
Let me just follow up real quickly from your own testimony. When you told us and you repeated it, we'll keep safety, particularly for teenagers, a top priority for us. When you're saying you're making that following commitment, why did you have to wait till now to make that following commitment now and not having done it before when this 10-year-old lost her life?
Congressman, I'm reiterating the commitment.
Okay.
Internally, in all my priorities, which is public to my employees, safety has always been a priority.
This company is a picture-perfect example of why this committee and Congress needs to take action immediately to amend Section 230. When we recently met, I asked you if the Chinese Communist Party can currently access user data, and you did not have a clear answer. So today I want to follow up. You heard it a little bit, but I want to be absolutely sure of this answer. Are employees of ByteDance subject to Chinese law, including the 2017 National Intelligence Law, which requires any organization or citizen to support, assist, and cooperate with state intelligence work in accordance with the law?
Like many companies, including many American companies, we rely on a global workforce, including engineers in China.
Okay, but no, yes or no?
So in the past, yes.
The
past, yes, but we are building Project Texas, and we're committing the firewall of all protected data. I want the foreign access.
Lot better question, Mr. Lana.
Your Article 7, the Article 7 of the 2017 National Intelligence Law, which I just said. Because it says, in addition, as was asked a little bit earlier, the 2014 counter-espionage law states that when the state security organ investigates and understands the situation of espionage and collect relevant evidence, the relevant organizations and individuals, it does not say may, it says shall provide it truthfully and may not refuse. Yes or no? Do any ByteDance employees in China, including engineers, currently have access to U.S. user data?
That's a good question.
Today, all U.S. user data is stored by default in the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, and
That's the
access to
question.
that
The
is
question
controlled
do any
by American
ByteDance
personnel.
employees
people.
in China, including engineers, currently have access to U.S. data?
Access.
Congressman, I would appreciate this. This is a complex topic.
Can you
Today,
say yes?
all data is
Yes,
stored
yes
by
or no?
default.
It's not that complex. Yes or
Is-
no, do they have access to user data?
We have, after Project Texas is done, the answer is no. Today, there is
Yeah,
still
so
some
you're
data
saying
that we
that
need
yes,
to
but
speak.
we've heard
to
already from
Virginia
the ranking member that he doesn't, and that he doesn't really see that Project Texas is going to be useful.
Oh, I really like this Shoo Chew guy. This Shoo Chew guy is a nice guy. You can tell he's pro America. You can tell that he believes what he's saying, but he couldn't lie there because he does have American ideals and but he's in a position where he's been in 2 years making money, getting paid, and he's going, well, after my Project Texas now ByteDance employees of the Communist Party will not have access, once we get that, switched on over to Project Texas. And he's going, see, there you go, Project Texas. What a great name, huh? Project Texas, because Project Texas is one of the greatest states on the earth, right? And I mean, I don't live there, but we all know that Project Texas means freedom and, just all kinds of great things, right? We just all love that feeling of Texas. So they name this thing Project Texas, like this is going to be a good thing. And you guys should listen to our Project Texas because we're moving all the data. They're saying, the Congress people said, I feel like that's just a marketing ploy. It's fluff to try to get us to believe that this is now going that direction when it hasn't been. And we don't know if Project Texas will end up actually being completed, right? So that is interesting. All right, Mr. Lauda, that's a little better. Go.
So I think I'm taking that as a no because, again, the question is what came to come up earlier, that on December the 22nd of last year, when ByteDance confirmed some of its Chinese employees had accessed TikTok data to monitor and track the physical location of journalists. So I took that as a yes from an earlier answer. Earlier this week, you posted a TikTok video asking American users to mobilize in support of your app and oppose the potential U.S. government action to ban TikTok in the United States. Based on the established relationship between your company and the Chinese Communist Party, it's impossible for me to conclude that the video is anything different than the type of propaganda that the CCP requires Chinese companies to push on its citizens. Now I yield back.
Yields back. Chair recognizes the lady from
Okay.
Colorado, Ms. DeGette, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Mr. Chu, like my colleagues, I'm concerned about the influence of China on TikTok and what that does for U.S. users. But I'm also concerned about how the content in TikTok is being distributed, particularly to young people. This is not a problem unique to TikTok, but TikTok has 150 million users in the United States. And so I think you'll agree that TikTok has a particular responsibility to monitor content to make sure that it's safe and accurate. Would that be fair to say?
Of course,
Yes,
they
I
all
agree with
do.
So, I know you said in your opening statement there's a ban or limited for kids under 13 and under 18 and so on. But I know it won't be news for you that computer savvy kids actually can bypass some of those restrictions quite frequently.
course.
And they can do it even if they have parental oversight. And so what I want to ask you is rather than putting the burden on young people and parents to accurately put in the birth date and so on when registering for TikTok, I want to ask you what
such an
TikTok
idiot.
can do to make sure to monitor this content. And I want to give you some
Oh my goodness. Mrs. DeGette, you are so stupid. Oh, did I say that? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, you guys, when you're a parent, you are in charge of your children. If you're not in charge of your children, that is your fault, okay? If you let them just go out and do whatever they want, I mean, where's the line drawn between the government and other companies taking control of our kids when we should have control of our kids? This is a typical person that's in government that's going, we know what we need to teach your kids. We know what we need to, how you need to behave with your kids. We know how, like, and the parent has no rights. Parent has no rights to their kids. We can put them in school and we can take them over and, have abortions, and we can take them over and they can get operations behind your back, and we can take them and we can teach them about all kinds of stuff, right? It's like, my child has a headache. Can you give them an aspirin? Oh no, we can't give them an aspirin. We can have them go out and have surgeries and stuff without you knowing, but there's no aspirin. They can't have any. We cannot give them aspirin. That you would have to bring an aspirin to us, and so I would have to take an aspirin to my kid in school when they have a headache because they refuse to do that. I mean, the madness, the non-common sense that has. And she's sitting here saying, hey, TikTok, without having to put the burden on the parents because we've taken away the parents' rights, we want you to make sure that everybody's responsible. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I mean, this little question that she has brings up more in me than just TikTok. I don't want people like that in Congress. TikTok, it's not TikTok's job to monitor my kid. I need to be able to monitor my kid and figure out whether or not he will have TikTok, number one. Maybe look at his TikTok. I don't know. There's so many different ways you can monitor that. Go.
Some examples of some of the extreme content. Mr. Latta talked about the blackout challenge and some of the dangers to young people's safety, but there's also extreme content around healthcare information. In one study, 13 out of 20 results for the question, does mugwort induce abortion? It talked about herbal so-called abortifacients like papaya seeds, which don't work. And so if people searching for information on safe abortions went on TikTok, they could get devastatingly incorrect information. Another study showed that TikTok had a hydroxychloroquine tutorial on how to fabricate this from grapefruit. Now, there's two problems with that. Number one, hydroxychloroquine is not effective in treating COVID, so that's one issue. The second issue is you can't even make hydroxychloroquine from grapefruit. So again, this is a really...
I am embarrassed, you people. I'm embarrassed, you guys. I live in Colorado, and this Miss DeGette is so clueless. Why? She is talking to the CEO of TikTok, and her concern is hydroxychloroquine, bad information out there. You see how ridiculous that is? Hydroxychloroquine? You can't get hydroxychloroquine. And if somebody made up something about getting a seed out of a grapefruit and that maybe you can get hydroxychloroquine out of it, who cares? That's just stupidity. Why does the government have to come in and go, hey, TikTok, you need to make sure that somebody doesn't give out false information? This is exactly what they did with Twitter. This is exactly what they do with Facebook and YouTube. Do you know, I had a viral video I put a little short up, and I got, let's see, what did I get? Like 12,000 views in 5 minutes, okay? And then it went blank and had 0 views. And I went, that's really weird. They literally, somebody within the social media site that I put it on, I think it was YouTube, can't remember, literally canceled my video. And it wasn't even political. It was like a comedy thing. But since somebody didn't agree with whatever that message was, they canceled it off of there. And that's exactly what she's trying to say, is I want you to push my agenda, her agenda of whatever that is, so that TikTok has to now push her agenda. Oh, these lawmakers just drive me nuts, man. This is not your typical old guy reaction. I'm usually happy listening to music. But when you're an old guy and you have all this experience and you lived a life and you see stupidity coming out and people losing common sense, and then you watch a movie like Idiocracy, you realize that we are living idiocracy right now. Go.
Serious miscommunication about healthcare information that people looking at TikTok are able to get, and in fact, it's being pushed out to them. So I want to know from you,
I'm
and I will
embarrassed.
give you time to answer this. You have current controls, but the current controls are not working to keep this information mainly from young people, but from Americans in general. What more
He's writing down right now. Keep kids from hydroxychloroquine false information because it's really important to Mrs. DeGette.
is TikTok doing to try to strengthen its review to keep this information from coming
He's
across
acting like,
to
oh, this is serious.
Thank you for the question.
This is serious. Yeah, let me.
Congresswoman. The
Okay.
dangerous misinformation that you mentioned is not allowed on our platform. It violates them.
I'm sorry to report it is on
right.
your platform, though.
Congresswoman,
Oh,
I don't think I can sit here and say that we are perfect in doing this. We do work very hard.
How can you make yourself more perfect? I don't want you to say it's not there or you apologize.
More perfect.
What can you do to limit it as much as possible, more than what you're doing now?
We invest a significant amount
DeGette.
in our content moderation work. I shared that number in our in my written.
I know
testimony.
you're investing,
Yes.
but what steps are you taking to improve the AI or whatever else you're doing? To
Nothing.
limit this content.
For example, if you search for certain search terms, we do direct you on TikTok to safety resources. That's one of the things we have done. We will continue to invest in this. I recognize and fully align with you that this is a problem that faces our industry, that we need to really invest and address. This, I'm very in alignment. The vast majority of our users come to our platform for entertaining, safe.
This is why people think that in Colorado we still drive on dirt roads. Because we have people like this that are so old and so ridiculous, they don't even have any common sense anymore. And so they're like, what about hydroxychloroquine? I mean, it doesn't cure COVID. Wait, wasn't COVID like 3 years ago? Or like, wasn't that a long time ago? I mean, we're still talking about hydroxychloroquine and COVID. And she's concerned about that. Oh, they're so far behind in Colorado, they probably still drive horse and buggy on dirt roads because it's finally getting to them. You know, I mean, it came from California and it's slowly getting to Colorado, and they're starting to read their papyrus reads and their scrolls and seeing what's going on now with hydroxychloroquine. Mr. Get. Go!
Content, but there are people who do spout some dangerous misinformation, and we need to take that very seriously, invest in it, proactively identify it, and remove it from our platform.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right now. I asked you specifically how you're trying to increase your review of this, and you gave me only generalized statements that you're investing, that you're concerned, that you're doing more. That's not enough for me. That's not enough for the parents of America. I'm going to ask you to
What's he
supplement your
supposed to say?
testimony and have your experts tell me what you're doing to make this a higher level of scrutiny, not just pablum at a hearing. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you.
Lady yields back.
Okay, Shoo-Choo, this is what you need to say now. You need to say, okay, we're going to get our horse and buggies and we're going to go out to Colorado and we're going to give you a new motorized vehicle, Mr. Get. And that should take care of the technology barrier that you have right now. Go!
Chair recognizes gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Hudson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman Morris Rogers, for holding this important hearing. I appreciate the witness, Mr. Shoji Chu, for making yourself available here today. While many consider TikTok to be just another video sharing app, in reality, TikTok has been functioning as a massive surveillance program, collecting vast swaths of personal data from more than 1 billion people worldwide. This includes data from the personal devices of federal employees, contractors, and most concerning, U.S. military service members and their families at places like Fort Bragg in
Now,
North
that's a
Carolina.
problem.
As Fort Bragg's congressman, I have serious
That'd be a
concerns about the
problem.
opportunities TikTok gives the Chinese Communist Party to access the non-public sensitive data of our men and women in uniform. This personal data and location information can be harvested and could be used for blackmail, to conduct espionage, and to possibly even reveal troop movements. While the
Yeah,
Department of Defense and most agencies have banned TikTok on government-issued devices, I believe more needs to be done at the command level to urge troops and their dependents to erase the app from the personal devices and keep them off home Wi-Fi. Having an app banned on a device in one pocket but downloaded on your device in the other doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I believe Congress and DOD should address the continued use of TikTok on military installations as well as any use that depicts U.S. military operations. Mr. Chu, does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on
No,
the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the.
So if I have
Question.
TikTok
Right.
app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no. It could be technical. Let me get back to you.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if you
Hacking.
can answer that. I'd like to change directions real quick. Do you receive
That's a
personal
good question,
employment,
I guess.
salary, compensation, or benefits from ByteDance?
Yes, I do.
What is your salary from ByteDance?
Congressman, if you don't mind, I would prefer to keep my
Oh, I
compensation
wouldn't give it.
private.
Okay. Do you personally have
That's
any
right.
company shares or stock in ByteDance or Douyin?
Congressman, if you don't mind, I would like to keep my personal assets private.
Is TikTok the
No,
company
I'm a
your
pawn.
only source of employment compensation? Where's your other source of income outside of TikTok?
It's my only source of compensation.
Do you have any financial debts or obligations to ByteDance, Douyin, or any other ByteDance affiliated entity?
Personally? No, I do not.
Does your management team receive separate
These are
salary,
good
compensation,
questions.
or benefits from ByteDance?
We receive salaries from the entities that we are employed in, but we
that
do share in the employee stock option plan that is available from the ByteDance top company.
So your primary salary comes from TikTok, but you have other compensation that comes directly from ByteDance.
You can characterize it as that, yes.
Does your management team have company shares or stock in ByteDance or Douyin?
Yes, some of our employees are compensated in shares in ByteDance.
Does TikTok share technological resources with Douyin? Are the two technology systems or IT systems interconnected in any way?
There are, as with many companies, some shared resources on some services, but it doesn't include anything that involves US user data, Congressman, is in Project Texas, as we talked about, stored by default in.
now we're getting into some actual questions of relevance here. These he's being direct. He wants to get to the nitty-gritty of who pays you, does anybody own shares, is there any communists in charge here? You know, that's what he's trying to get to, and those are good questions. He's not going, oh, my kid saw a video on hydroxychloroquine and somebody did a double barrel flip on a motorcycle and then someone else did it and got killed. And I don't like that. Go.
American soil by an
Will
American
be,
company.
but currently there is shared technology or interconnected IT systems.
Congressman, with respect, I have to get back to you. This could be a very broad question. Like, for example, we could all be using Microsoft Windows.
Yeah, if you could get back with details on that, I'd appreciate
Yes.
it. Can Douyin personnel or employees
Good
access
answer,
TikTok
Shu
user
Chu.
data?
Not after Project Texas, this is not allowed.
Are there employees who are employed by both Douyin and
After.
TikTok?
I do not believe so.
Okay, and so I don't believe so. Is that it? I mean,
Good question.
again, I'll allow you to come back in a written response if you could give me a definitive answer.
I will go back and check to be very sure.
Okay, thank you. I'm also concerned about an issue that our chairwoman brought up about an
Wow.
apparent pattern of misinformation or
That was a good question.
misrepresentation from your company in regards to the amount and extent of data that you're collecting, as well as how much has been accessed from inside China. There are dozens of public reports that conclude individuals in the People's Republic of China have been accessing data on U.S. users, directly contradicting several public statements by TikTok employees. And I'm referencing Project Raven, which was first reported on by Forbes last October. Their investigation revealed, I'm sorry, I'm about out of time. Do you want to respond to that?
Yes, Congressman. We do not condone the effort by certain former employees to access U.S. TikTok user data in an attempt to identify the source of leaked confidential information. We condemn these actions. After learning about them, we found a highly reputable law firm to thoroughly investigate the incident. We took swift disciplinary action against employees who were found to be involved and are implementing measures to make sure this doesn't happen again. We have made this team available to you. I think they have briefed many of you in this committee very extensively, and I will continue to make them very available to you as part of our transparent commitment.
Thank you. My time's expired. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair
Man, I like
recognizes
Shu
lady from
Chu.
Illinois,
He's
Ms.
smooth.
Kurkowski for 5 minutes.
He's smooth.
Thank you. So today, in the Wall Street Journal, they said, today,
Shakowski.
China's commerce minister said that China opposes the sale of TikTok because it would involve exporting China's technology and would, and this is the important part, and would need to be approved by the Chinese government. Would need to be approved by the Chinese government. So all of what you were
Right, that's a
saying
good
about the
question.
distance between TikTok and China has been said to be not true in the paper today, and I would like to see what you have to say in response.
Congresswoman, I do disagree with that
Right.
characterization. I think we have designed Project Texas to protect U.S. user interests and to move forward here in the U.S. Again, it's the protections of storing American data on American soil by an American company looked after by American personnel. And I do not think that our commitments to this committee and all our users is impacted by any event that you mentioned. Now, the whole...
Shu Chu, let me just tell you something. I know that you're a pawn and you can't answer that question. He can't answer that question because it would have to be approved by the Chinese government. They own it, right? They own part of it. It's so hard. This is such a hard thing because I like Shu Chu. I like this guy. I like TikTok. I like what TikTok brings if people want to use it, right? But man, you got to find out what the Chinese government is doing that Shu Chu does not even know. And he's not answering this question at all because he can't. He has to make it sound like it's totally American. That's why they're paying him. Go.
Discussion on this, the resolution of this is an ongoing and developing event. So we will continue to pay attention to this, and we'll get back to you when we have more specifics.
So
But
if
my
it's
commitment stands. Yeah.
Okay, so if it's an ongoing debate, apparently with China, so it's hard to say with any certainty that China would not have any influence. But let me ask another question. Last fall, along with Gus Bilirakis,
Right.
who were chair and co-chair of the subcommittee together, were told that TikTok had surveilled, was involved in surveillance of users, very personal information. And you might say, well, not more than other companies, and I agree with Ranking Member Pallone that I really don't want to go by that standard particularly, but that TikTok's in-app
Yeah, who
browser
cares?
surveilled everything from Americans, including passwords and credit card numbers, et cetera. So I just want to ask you if
Well, that would
TikTok
be a
did
problem.
track and collect this sensitive data that Americans don't want to have disclosed.
Congressman, thank you. I'm glad you asked this question because, like you pointed out, we actually do not
Yes.
believe we collect more data than any other social media company out there. A lot of these reports, and we can talk about which
Yeah, right.
specific one you're talking about. A lot of them are not that accurate. Some of them we have actually gotten in touch with the authors to help them understand the data that we're collecting. A lot of it is speculation. This is something they could do. But if you look at the subtext, this is something that
So
every company could do.
I'm running out of time. Let me just say that if TikTok chose not to take this sensitive information that you don't need for a transaction and support our comprehensive privacy bill, that would be very helpful. The other thing I wanted to ask, so really this is a yes or no, that does TikTok share user information from companies, from parent companies, from affiliated, or send user information to overseas?
In the past, yes, for interoperability
Good
purposes.
question.
Now, after Project Texas, all protected U.S. data will be stored here with the access controlled by a special team of U.S. personnel. Again, Congresswoman, this is something that, as far as I understand, no other company, including American companies, are willing to go. So maybe this is something that we can ask the industry to provide, not just us, to protect
In the
U.S. user
case of
interests.
sharing information, I do want.
Yes. Oh my goodness, this is so incredible. You talk about misinformation out there, right? And they were talking about how somebody sees some misinformation and they believe that they can get hydroxychloroquine out of a grapefruit, and they want them to stop the misinformation completely, 100%, not do better, 100%, she says. And then you get, and you're talking about all these people that are like almost, they're brain dead for even thinking that they can get, like I said, idiocracy is coming and it's already here. And somebody believes they can actually get hydroxychloroquine out of a grapefruit, they're brain dead, okay? But then you have this congresswoman that says she's almost a victim of it too, because she's saying that she's basically heard that they're stealing, credit card information and this information, some of this private information that other people. And Shu Chu is going, no, I don't know where you heard that, but we don't collect anything different than anybody else. We have the same amount of stuff that we collect from everybody else. So I started thinking to myself, oh my goodness, some of these people on this panel, I guarantee they're not on TikTok. You know where they get their information? From other people who get information. And it's not even, it might be misinformation that they're getting. They're literally going, I think you can get hydroxychloroquine out of a grapefruit. Is that true? I heard that because somebody told me about that. Because they have no personal knowledge of what's going on. Everything's second and third hand from someone else who heard, or someone else that did some research that they think that, it's just crazy how deep this goes with misinformation. And you know what? I do believe that misinformation in general might destroy us as a world. Like it's crazy. I just read an article today on Google that said, did President Putin kneel down on one knee and kiss President Xi from China's hand? Because President Xi went over to Russia and saw Putin, and there's a video of Putin kneeling down and kissing China's hand, Xi's hand. Now, that's pretty crazy. When you think about that now, is that misinformation? Yes. they did some research on that video, and it was put on social media. And they looked and they said, okay, first of all, his hand was blurry. President Putin's hand was blurry. So when he leaned over to kiss his hand, they're saying that's probably some AI that made that hand. And it can't do hands perfectly. Even though AI is good, it can't do hands perfectly. And then they viewed Putin's body. His head was too big for his body. So the AI messed up on him kissing the hand. It had a head that was too big. And so they realized that that is a fake video. It's misinformation. So I do think misinformation is going to destroy our world. We could go over nuclear war over a fake video or fake something that somebody said or whatever. But you can't control the jillions of things coming out on social media. And you can't expect the companies to control all of it. They can control the heads being cut off and people killing themselves and people firing guns at each other. They can control that. But they can't control Putin kissing Xi's hand in a 30-second clip that was AI induced. And that kind of stuff is going to be wicked down the road. The only thing we can do is for us to control our families, to make sure that our kids, maybe we take the phone away for a few days, which is almost sounds like that would not be good. But how do we get society back to where we can actually communicate without this guy gets information, this guy gets information, and then we clash on it, and we might have got two different opinions that were wrong information, and we're clashing, and we're going to war, and we're killing each other over two things that were opposite. And that's what's happening in our world right now. Whew.
A
Go.
quote from employees that you had, and here's the quote. Everything is seen in China, is really what they said. People who were in touch with the sensitive data were saying that.
Yeah.
How do you respond
I
to
would
that?
imagine.
I disagree with that statement.
Well, I know you disagree with that statement, but my point is, how does
Well, of
that
course you
happen
do.
that
You're a good
employees
guy.
of the company are saying that in fact that's not true?
I cannot speak to, I don't know who this person is, so I cannot speak to what the person has or has not said. What I can say is, based on my position in this company and the responsibility that I have, that statement is just not true.
Okay, unfortunately, and I'll close, I guess I'm over my time. We need to look into
She heard
the
it from
facts of this,
someone.
and so do you. And I yield back.
Go ahead,
Young
look
lady yields
into it.
back. Chair recognizes.
You
the
might
lady
have
from
gotten
Florida, Ms.
misinformation
Cammett, for 5
too.
minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Mr. Shou, are you
Crazy.
aware of Chinese Communist Party leader Chairman Xi Jinping's comments in May 2021 during a Communist Politburo study session where he instructed colleagues to target different countries, different audiences with short-form video? Are you aware of these comments? Yes or no?
Congressman, I'm not aware of these comments.
Okay. Well, and as was pointed out by Chairwoman Rogers, you have regular contact with Chinese Communist Party Secretary, Mr. Zhang Fuping, who is your boss at ByteDance, correct?
No,
No.
no. He's
Interesting.
neither my boss, nor do we have frequent contact.
But you have regular contact with ByteDance,
With the CEO of ByteDance.
who is, Mr. Zhang Fuping is the
He's not.
editor-in-chief.
He's not the
My
CEO.
colleague, Representative Burgess, a few minutes ago exposed that TikTok and ByteDance share legal teams. You confirmed this, correct?
Our general counsel is
Yes.
an
Yes or
American
no?
lawyer,
Yes.
veteran of Microsoft.
Also, my
Many-
colleague, Representative Latta, confirmed that your parent company,
He's not the
ByteDance, currently
CEO,
can
she
access
said.
user data. Yes?
we have to be more
Yes.
specific.
Yes.
After
You
Project
say-
Texas, no.
I'm not asking after Project Texas, I'm asking now. Yes.
Some user data is public data, Congresswoman, which means
So you
everybody
confirm that.
can search
What's
right on the
interesting
internet.
to me is that you have used the word transparency over a half a dozen times in your opening testimony and subsequently again in your answers to my colleagues. Yet the interesting thing to me is that ByteDance, your parent company, has gone out of their way to hide and airbrush corporate structure, ties to the CCP, the company's founder, and their activities. You can look no further than the fact that ByteDance website has been scrubbed. In fact, we found web pages from the Beijing Internet Association, the industry association charged with Communist Party building work of internet companies in Beijing. They have been archived, but since deleted. Makes you kind of wonder why. Yes or no, ByteDance is required to have a member of the Chinese government on its board with veto power. Is that correct?
No, that is not correct. ByteDance owns some Chinese businesses, and you're talking about this very special subsidiary that is
Mr.
for
Shou,
Chinese business
Mr.
licensing.
Shou,
purpose.
I'm going to have to move on. You've said repeatedly that there is no threat, that this is
Okay, I just don't get what this. Who is this girl? Look, when she says, "Is this guy the CEO?" and he goes, "No," and she goes, "Xi Zhang Wang is the CEO." He goes, "No, that's not correct," and she's like, like she knows. Okay, obviously he would know. I feel like this guy is telling the truth to his best of his ability. Like he knows who the CEO is. He knows, and if he is just a pawn, which I believe he is, he's only been in 2 years. He can't know everything about everything that TikTok has been doing. Okay, but he's telling his truth of what he knows and what he believes. So he's not lying when he says, I don't think he's lying when he says, no, Xi Zhang Wang is not the CEO. And she's like, yeah, if he only knew he's lying. You know, it's like, okay. And then she's saying, you know, I mean, every question she had, she's like laughing, like, yeah, like I'm right. And he's just lying to me. Oh, it drives me nuts. And then they just move on to the next one because there's nothing they can say. Right? If the guy is telling his truth, if you know some top secret thing, don't sit there with a smile. Go, hey, well, I know that by top secret, you know, papers, I know that that guy is really the CEO of it. Because Mr. Shu Chu doesn't know it. Okay? I kind of believe this guy, Shu Chu. He is a pawn. I believe that he's telling the truth as he knows it. He doesn't want to go to jail. He is in America, right? He doesn't want to lose his income with China, but they have only told him what he needs to know. And so when they are scrubbing things off websites, they're like, oh, did you know that they've been scrubbing things off certain ByteDance websites and this and that and whatever? He probably doesn't know that because they did it under the cover and hired him. Go.
a platform for entertainment and for fun. I have to ask you then, if there is no threat to Americans, if there is no threat to our data, privacy, security, why did an internal memo from TikTok corporate headquarters explicitly coach senior management to, quote, downplay the parent company ByteDance? Why would they say downplay the China Association and downplay AI? This is from an internal memo from your company. Why, if you had nothing to hide, would you need to downplay the association with ByteDance in China?
Congresswoman, I have not
Okay,
seen
no, that's a
the
better
memo.
question.
You
What I
can't
can
answer
say-
that question. Mr. Shou, I'd like to direct your attention to the screen for a short video, if you don't mind.
Oh, I can't wait. Is she showing him lying? I can't wait. Okay, a gun getting shot. Okay.
Mr. Shou, that video was posted 41 days ago. As you can see, it is captioned me as F. at the House Energy and Commerce Committee on March 23rd of this year. This video was posted before this hearing was publicly noticed. I think that's a very interesting point to raise. But more concerning is the fact that it names this chairwoman by name. Your own community guidelines state that you have a firm stance against enabling violence on or off TikTok. We do not
Who
allow people
cares?
to use our platform to threaten or incite violence or to promote violent extremist organizations, individuals, or acts. When there is a threat to public safety or an account is used to promote or glorify off-platform violence, we ban the account.
cares?
This video has been up for 41 days. It is a direct threat to the chairwoman of this committee, the people in this room, and yet it still remains on the platform. And you expect us
That
to
was a
believe
10-second
that you
video.
are capable of maintaining the data security, privacy, and security of 150 million Americans where you can't even protect the people in this room? I think that is a blatant display.
You are protected, woman. What is wrong with you? That is the dumbest. You are grasping at straws. Did you just wake up and go, okay, what am I going to preach about today when I talk to him? And I'm going to have to preach gun violence with a 10-second. Can anybody find me a 10-second video about today? Well, actually, you found one that's 41 days old? Oh, that's evil. Those people are going to come in and kill us. Those people are evil. That guy can't protect us. He is evil. I can't even imagine that, man. How ridiculous. All right, go.
Of how vulnerable people who use TikTok are. You couldn't take action after 41 days when a clear threat, a very violent threat to the chairwoman of this committee and the members of this committee was posted on your platform.
They're all vulnerable.
You damn well know that you cannot protect the data and security of this committee or the 150 million users of your app because it is an extension of the CCP. And with that, I yield back.
Can I respond, Chair?
Wah.
General Lady yields back.
We should
Chairman
probably
recognizes the lady
outlaw
from
guns
California,
too.
Ms. Sears, for
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And I'm really glad that we're having this very important hearing here today. And let me just say, make no mistake, the Chinese government represents a real and immediate threat. Look no further than even the vulnerable gear still in our telecom networks that needs to be ripped and replaced. But we can't lose sight of the important internet governance issues TikTok and other social media companies represent. I'm especially committed to demanding transparency from large platforms about the algorithms that shape our online interactions, especially for teenagers and young users. And that's why I introduced the Algorithmic Justice and Online Platform Transparency Act to bring greater visibility into this ecosystem. My bill would prohibit algorithms that discriminate on the basis of race, age, gender, ability, and other protected characteristics. It also would establish a safety and effectiveness standard for algorithms while requiring new forms of oversight. Now, this bill would require online platforms to publish annual public reports detailing their content moderation practices, which I believe should be a baseline requirement to enable meaningful oversight and consumer choice. Mr. Chu, just yes or no, do you believe a requirement for annual content moderation practices for social media platforms would be beneficial? Yes or no?
Yes.
This transparency bill would also require online platforms to maintain detailed records describing their algorithmic process for review by the Federal Trade Commission in compliance with key privacy and data identification standards. Mr. Chu, does TikTok currently maintain
the
records
FTC.
describing their algorithmic processes? Yes or no?
Congressman, I will need to check and get back to you on what kind of specific records you are talking about.
I wait for that. Over the past few years, alarming information brought to light by whistleblowers have shown that social media companies are intimately aware of the effect their products have on young women, political extremism, and more. Despite this, they withheld those studies or declined to investigate further. In either case, it shows a pattern evasive or negligent behavior that I find concerning in the extreme. Mr. Chu, does TikTok conduct its own studies on the effect of its algorithms and content distribution models on mental health or safety? And if so, how and when are those findings made public? And if not, do you believe they are necessary?
Congresswoman, we rely on external third parties and fund their research to help us understand some of these issues. For example, we worked with the Digital Wellness Lab at the Boston Children's Hospital to understand the 60-minute time limit that we put for all our under 18 users. And we are supportive of legislation that provides more funding for research, like, for example, for the NIH.
Okay. TikTok tailors its recommended content.
This is super tough, guys, because this, as much as we want content moderation in some oversight of people cutting people's heads off or whatever, and I know I keep using that, or killings or fighting or something. This lady is actually said something about political extremism. Okay? What does that mean? If I don't agree with her, am I a political extremist? If she doesn't, who is going to decide those algorithms and what political extremism is? Because right now, both sides, Democrats and Republicans, claim the other one is a political extremist. So whatever law they come up with, that should not be in there. Having the FTC, there's a reason why people can turn on the TV and watch some free stations that are FTC regulated and whatever. And then we can go to my radio in my car and turn on that one thing that I pay for, that satellite radio, XM, Sirius XM, and people can cuss and do whatever they want because I pay for it. So if you're going to write a bill for TikTok that says, hey, if you're free, you have to have some sort of FTC rules where they can't cuss and they can't whatever, they may do that, right? But at the same time, TikTok can say, okay, pay us 99 cents a month and now we can do whatever we want. So it's interesting. They're towing a fine line here. Go.
Based on user activity to encourage people to spend more time on the app. While this practice is by no means unique to TikTok, given the prevalence of young users and the digestible nature of short-form video, I'm concerned about the app's tendency to exacerbate existing mental health challenges. Mr. Chu, does TikTok have different policies for amplifying content that would be related to depression or dieting versus content like gardening and sports? If yes, describe these policy differences. If no, why not?
Congresswoman, thank you for that. This is a great question. The answer is yes. We are trying out some policies together with experts to understand certain contents that are not inherently harmful, like extreme fitness, for example, but shouldn't be seen too much. And these are models that we're building, and we are trying to understand, together with experts, how to best implement them across our platform, particularly for younger users,
Okay,
under
so
18. Yeah.
in cases where users have been engaging with potentially harmful content, I believe it's imperative that the app takes steps to moderate that behavior rather than continuing to promote it. I mean, in a sense,
I apologize.
about that.
I wasn't clear. First, anything that is violative and harmful, we remove. What I meant to say were content that is not inherently harmful. Like some of the extreme fitness videos about people running 100 miles. It's not inherently harmful, but if we show them too much, the experts are telling us that we should disperse them more and make sure that they're not seen too regularly,
So
especially by younger
you're very
users.
intentional about that, then? It's something that you'll...
We are working on it,
moderate.
yes. Yeah.
You're working on it?
Yes.
Okay. I yield back.
Oh my goodness, you guys, that is the most dangerous thing I've ever heard. Think about how horrible that could be. Think about what she's talking about. Who is the one that decides what is harmful and what isn't? How about this? Is it harmful to put on something about abortion and have somebody literally go and have an abortion without their parents knowing? Oh, that might be acceptable, huh? Mrs. Whatever her name is, Cantor or whatever. Is that harmful information? We got to make sure we stop all abortion stuff. Okay, because that could be harmful to someone. Okay, how about gender surgeries for kids under 17, right? They're causing them to get their balls cut off when they're 7 years old or 8 years old because that's what they're choosing. That's not harmful. But oh my goodness, what if somebody was doing extreme running and they wanted to run 100 miles? That could hurt somebody's body. They could regret doing that. They could regret running 100 miles because someone else did it. Oh, I just don't understand. The double barrel backflip on a motorcycle is not, that could be harmful to people. So we're probably going to, I mean, I can think of a million things that we're going to argue about. You cannot make rules like that. You cannot make rules like that. We need freedom. If I want to do a double barrel backflip, you should praise me and go, that was so cool. But if some idiot runs out and does it, then that's his problem. Okay? Now, if he dies and his head gets crushed, okay, cancel that video. Okay, I can understand FTC rules. It needs to, I don't want to see a dead body laying there. But I mean, oh my goodness, what's wrong with our common sense where we can make our own decisions based on things? We're not children. And then children under 17 should be monitored by their parents. Don't put a TV in their room. Don't put a phone in their room where they're by themselves. Don't put an iPad in their room. Don't put a computer in their room. You know where my computer was for my children? It was in my office and the screen faced the kitchen. And I gave them 2 hours a day on mine. They could go on and play games and do whatever they wanted. That was it. Oh, they can't sit there all night and be up all night and be texting people all night. I made that mistake once, and police showed up at my door. My kid had the phone in there. He's texting in the middle of the night. He's saying stupid stuff, and next thing you know, the police are at my door. That's my decision. I'm taking that phone away from that kid, okay? So you are not going to control the content I can watch. That's ridiculous. Or what I can put out there. And I don't care what my politics are. I'm not extreme politics. You cannot rule me because of my politics and my thinking. Because I don't think like you. Go.
Back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida.
Gentleman
Mr.
from
Bill Rockets for
Florida.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for holding this hearing. Mr. Chu, your algorithms have prioritized providing harmful content directly to children, like self-harm challenges and even suicide. Just 3 days ago, Italy opened an investigation into the TikTok over user safety concerns after the so-called French scar challenge went viral on your platform. I know you know about the blackout challenge, which others may know as the choking challenge that encourages children to bring them to the point of unconsciousness or in some cases, tragically, death. If that isn't enough, I want to share the story of Chase Naska, a 16-year-old boy from New York who tragically ended his life a year ago by stepping in front of a train. I want to thank his parents. Again, they are here.
Oh, it's TikTok's fault.
His parents for being here today and allowing us to show this. Mr. Chu, your company destroyed their lives.
How?
Your company destroyed
How?
their lives. I admire their courage to be here and share Chase's story in the hopes that it will prevent this from happening to other families. The content in Chase's For You page was not a window to discovery, as you boldly claimed in your testimony. It wasn't content from a creator that you invited to roam the hill today, or STEM education content that children in China see. Instead, his For You page was sadly a window to discover suicide. It is unacceptable, sir, that even after knowing all these dangers, you still claim TikTok is...
Oh my goodness, I have to pause it. It's so... You guys, I am not unsympathetic. I understand those poor people are in there and their child committed suicide. It's not TikTok that is the problem and the uptick of suicides across America. It is the fact that we have these damn phones that we're on all the time and we have no more friends. That's the problem. I'm not going outside playing with my friends and playing football and throwing the frisbee and going to hang out at the mall and doing things with them anymore. I just look at them right here and I go, oh, well, that looks like they're looking, oh, maybe they'll like my little thing. Oh, yeah, I'll like their little thing and they'll like my little thing. And, hey, do you want to ever talk to me? No, I'm too busy. Well, what are you busy doing? Well, I spend 4 hours on Facebook and 4 hours on Instagram and 4 hours on TikTok. And so that's 12 hours. And then I got to sleep 8 hours, but then I'm up in the morning to at least have, are you kidding me? It is not TikTok. It is our whole system. It's the human race and technology. We're clashing right now. Technology is clashing with the human race. And you know who's going to win? Technology is going to win. Because the human race is dumbing down to technology and it's getting smarter. We don't work out anymore. We don't walk around the block anymore. I had a client move up here to Colorado and he was driving, he talking to me and he's like, hey, why are all the people, he was here the first day. He's like, why is everybody walking around? I don't understand why everybody keeps walking around. What are they doing? I go, what do you mean? Like in the neighborhoods, they're walking around everywhere. And I said, well, he's from Houston, Texas. Well, Houston, Texas is labeled the fattest city in America, right? They're all sitting on their rear ends eating hamburgers, I guess. I don't know. They were labeled the fattest city. So I said, well, they're just taking walks. It's a beautiful day. The air, it's 70 degrees. He's like, oh my goodness, they're not going to like me up here because I do not walk around. That is ridiculous. That is the dumbest thing I ever. I mean, he was upset. Now, yeah, the guy was 400 pounds himself, but it's just one of those things that he lives in an area that has a lot of humidity. It's hot. They don't walk around. They sit in their air-conditioned rooms. They eat hamburgers. They get fat. I'm in an area that, hey, it's 70 degrees. The sun's beautiful. The air is crisp. I'm at 6,600 feet above sea level. And he just doesn't understand. Well, that's because now you have all these people that are sitting around doing this. They're not exercising at all. They're eating and doing this. You think we have to worry about China? You think I'm worried about China? I'm worried about ourselves. We're our own worst enemy. Mr. Bill Arrakis of Florida, you have to make a show and bring these people in who lost their son, and then you have to blame it on China? Social media? Yes, it's social media. It's all social media. It's all the internet. It's everything. It's YouTube. It's TV. It's computer games. It's everything. Man, am I getting off my high horse right now. Go!
Dangers, you still claim TikTok is something grand to behold. I want you to see what Chase would see. And I think if you want, again, would you share this content with your children, with your 2 children? Would you want them to see this? And again, I want to warn everyone
Okay.
watching that you may find this content disturbing, but we need to watch this, please.
Larry tip. You got to kill yourself.
Oh, word? Like right now?
And then I'm gonna put a shotgun in my mouth and blow the brains out of the back of my head.
Cool.
This is a cute story. My brother, who is addicted to painkillers, blew his head off on the State Street Bridge. Bam! Now hold on, it gets better. No letter, no goodbye, nothing.
Got a question. If I died, would you miss me?
That's not. Once again, he's saying your technology is the cause of this kid's death. Okay, all technology is the cause of people killing themselves right now. There is so much suicide and people that don't want to live because they don't have any relationships. Relationships is the key to being happy. Foster the relationships. Get off of the social media. But quit blaming TikTok. It's not TikTok. It's us. It's us. If you do not want your child to watch this stuff, get him off of TikTok. Take his phone away. Take her phone away. Make it 2 hours a day. Don't let him have it at school. Let him have it when they come home so they can make calls and do some texts and do a little TikTok. I mean, figure that out, people. It's us. Go.
Mr. Chu, please. Your technology is literally leading to death. Mr. Chu, yes or no? Do you have full responsibility for your algorithms used by TikTok to prioritize content to its users? Yes or no, please?
Congressman, I'll just like to, if respectfully, if you don't mind, I would just like to start by saying it's devastating to hear about the news of,
Yes.
as a father myself, this is
Sir,
tragic.
yes or no? I'll repeat the question. Do you have full responsibility for the algorithms used by TikTok to prioritize content to its users? Yes or no, please?
Congressman, we do take these issues very seriously.
Yes or no?
And we do provide resources for anyone who types in anything that
Sir,
is suicide
yes or
related.
no?
Mr. Billaracus, okay? I don't know who you are, but you're an old guy. You can't even pronounce algorithms. Your algorithms, do you have control of your algorithms? What is wrong with this guy? What is wrong with our politicians? They are stupider than a box of rocks. They need to be smart enough to have common sense. But they're pushing their ideologue. They're an ideologue, and they're pushing their ideals onto everybody else. And they're trying to make it look like they're important. And I don't even know who this guy is. He's probably a nice guy. He's a nice grandpa. He probably has good moral compass. But we are beyond TikTok right now. This hearing should be to decide whether or not TikTok should be banned. Banned as a country because China is spying on us and could do some harm to our country through national security. That's what they told us. It literally says lawmakers press Xu Zhiqiu on national security risks. That's what it says on the screen right now. This is not national security risks. This is you're a bad company because there's people killing themselves because of your technology. Go.
I see you're not willing to answer the question or take any responsibility for your parents' companies,
No.
the technology,
No responsibility,
the harms
pal.
it creates. It's just very, very sad.
It's very sad
very
that
sad.
you're
This is
being
why
so stupid.
Congress needs to enact a comprehensive privacy and data security law to give Americans more control over their information and to protect our children. We must save our children from big tech companies like yours who continue to abuse and manipulate them.
Be a
for
parent.
your own
Be a
gain.
parent.
And I'll
Be a
yield back,
grandpa.
Madam Chair.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the lady from Florida, Ms. Castor, for 5 minutes. Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, it is urgent that the Congress pass an online data privacy law that protects the personal privacy of Americans online, and particularly our kids. While this hearing shines a light on TikTok, this hearing also should serve as a call to action for the Congress to act now to protect Americans from surveillance, tracking, personal data gathering, and addictive algorithmic operations that serve up harmful content and has a corrosive effect on
Yes,
kids'
on all of
mental
it.
and physical well-being. For many years, I've sounded the alarm in this committee of how big tech platforms like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram incessantly surveil, track, gather personal private information, and use it along with data brokers to target and influence our behavior. This is a much broader issue than TikTok in China. There are other malign actors across the world who gather data to use it as an element of social control.
That's true. That's true.
And influence peddling, and worse. And as I detailed in this committee last year when we passed our online privacy law, the harms to children are very serious and demand swift action. Big tech platforms profit immensely from keeping children addicted. They do not care about the privacy, safety, and health of our kids. They are the modern-day tobacco and cigarette companies that for so long resisted and misled Congress. And it took action by the Congress to actually protect our kids and to outlaw smoking by young people.
No, that was parents
in early
too.
2020, based upon the growing body
Dropping
of
their
evidence
responsibility.
to harm to kids online, I introduced the Kids Privacy Act and the Kids Act. And I want to thank all of the researchers, the young people, the parents, the Surgeon General of the United States who have explained the correlation between social media usage and body dissatisfaction, disordered eating habits, anxiety, depression, self-injury, suicide ideation, and cyberbullying. Heck, Frances Haugen, the Facebook whistleblower, was right here and testified to us that Facebook and Instagram conducted research on this topic. They knew and understood the harms, but they continued to elevate profits over the well-being of children.
Yes.
TikTok does this.
Thank you.
Last Congress, when we passed the ADPPA, the committee incorporated many of these important.
I gotta pause it. She is at least saying, hey, the whole industry is screwed up. I know it's not about you, TikTok. You just happen to be here. We heard a bunch of crap over the Facebook hearing and blah, blah, blah. But, it's the whole industry. You just happen to be here. And it's ruining our kids' lives. Yes, it is. It's ruining all of our lives. It is. It's supposed to be a social media for fun and whatever. But when you go onto Facebook and you look and everybody's having a great time because they only post their great times and they don't post all the bad crap, and you're sitting in your room and you have no friends and you're looking at all these people having a great time and you think, I'm worthless, you end up dying and killing yourself. And yes, that is a serious problem. But what are we supposed to do about it? So at least she's saying, we got a problem here. We're trying to fix it. I've been sounding this alarm for years. Let's see what she says to Mr. Choo Choo.
Important child online privacy and safety provisions from my bills, but we can make the 118th Congress's version of this bill, of this new law, even more protective of children, and I look forward to working with the chair and the ranking member to make that happen. Mr. Chu, TikTok has incredible sway over children in the U.S., but you don't have a very
Do you have any
good track
questions, ma'am, Mrs. Castor?
In 2019, TikTok was hit with the largest civil penalty by the Federal Trade Commission in a children's privacy case. 4 years later, TikTok still has not taken sufficient action to fix the problems. I assume because child users are incredibly profitable to
Yes.
your bottom line.
All humans are.
So answer me this. TikTok allows advertisers to specifically target advertising to children aged 13 to 17, correct?
Congresswoman, I do want to disagree
Yes
with the
or no?
statement that child
Yes.
abuses are not allowed on our platform
Yes
at
or
all. It's
no?
deplorable
Do you
conduct and it's not
target-
allowed on our
do you
platform.
target advertising to young people aged 13 to 17?
We do serve
Yes.
personalized
Okay, thank
advertising at this point,
And
but the
how
policies
much
are very
money-
safe for them.
How much money does TikTok make selling ads?
Oh my goodness, I gotta pause it. This is so maddening, guys. For an old guy like me. She sits there and rails against everything. This is so horrible. You're so horrible. This is so horrible. It's so horrible. You are an idiot. You're so horrible. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me ask you. Do you do 16 and you do advertising to 16 and 17-year-olds? Ma'am, I need to address why you're telling me that I'm so horrible. No, I said yes or no. Yes or no. Do you do 16 or 17-year-olds? Ma'am, you just said I was horrible for, 3 minutes straight. No. Oh, I want yes or no. You're just avoiding me. You're avoiding me. You see how these politicians are? They're stupid. They rail against something for countless minutes, and then they want him to say yes or no. Of course, they are targeting 16 and 17-year-olds. They want them to buy candy bars. They want them to buy jeans. They want them to buy things. They want to make money. Do you know how much money there is selling games to 16 and 17-year-olds? Video games? Okay, and products? A lot of money. And yet, all she can do is rant and rave and then ask a single yes or no question. Oh my goodness, what are we coming to? Go.
Targeted to minors.
Congresswoman, can I clarify minors in what age?
From just say age 13 to 17.
For the teenage population, I want to clarify that we do have a under 13 experience and zero advertising on that,
nice.
platform. For those
Well, that's a whole other.
Oh, that's something you want to go into. Okay.
between 13 and 17, if you don't mind, I'll check into my team and get back to you on those answers.
TikTok could be designed to minimize the harm to kids, but a decision was made to aggressively addict kids in the name of profits. And it's our responsibility, members, to act swiftly to address this.
It's your parents' responsibility.
Dilly-dallied too much. This committee, thankfully, we've taken responsibility and acted, but we have an enormous responsibility to act swiftly and get this bill to the floor of the House and passed into law as soon as possible. Thank you.
Oh.
Gentlelady yields back. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Johnson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Chu, I'm an information technology professional, been doing it for the most of my
Okay,
life.
good. I can't wait to hear what you say. Then.
Evasive in many of your answers. I'm going to talk to you in some language that maybe you'll better understand, ones and zeros.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Let's talk about the Citizen Lab report. This is something your team frequently mentions in hearings as a way to exonerate yourself. For example, in the limitations section, it reads, we could not examine every source code component and test in the apps in every circumstance. which means our methods could not find every security issue, privacy violation, and censorship event. So it's an incomplete assessment. The report notes that TikTok's data collection using third-party trackers was in apparent conflict with the GDPR and that multiple themes were censored by TikTok. What is shocking to me is the shared source code between TikTok in the United States and the CCP-censored Douyin. The Citizen Labs report says that many of the functions and classes were identical and that the differences in behavior between TikTok in the United States and Douyin in China are slight changes in hard-coded values. Incredibly, specific censorship parameters from Douyin are present in TikTok, but just turned off. The authors say that for unknown reasons, the parameter variable itself is preserved. So while Citizen Lab may have been afraid to say the obvious conclusion, Mr. Chu, I am not. TikTok's source code is riddled with backdoors and CCP censorship devices. Here's the truth. In 1 million lines of code, the smallest shift from a 0 to a 1 on just one of thousands of versions of TikTok on the market will unlock explicit CCP censorship and access to American data. Mr. Chu, as CEO of TikTok, why have you not directed your engineers to change this source code?
Congressman, thank you for the question.
Have you directed them to change the source code?
Like what we are offering and
Yes
my
or
fourth
no?
commitment?
Have you directed them to
No.
change that source code?
Congressman, if you give me a bit of time to just
No,
explain.
I don't.
It is not, I have to pause. It's not a yes or no question. He's been in the business 2 years. He is not a technology guru. This guy is a technology guru. I've got a trillion zeros and 50,000 ones, and the source code, you know, with the CCP, which is what, the China's Communist Party. The CCP, you know, has the 50 billion ones and the ones and the zeros. Have you told your engineers they need to change those ones? You know, the 50,367th one to 0. Have you done that? Well, let me explain here because I've only been here 2 years. No, I just want to know if you're changing the ones to zeros. Are you changing the ones to zeros? Or your engineer? Okay, well, hold on. Can I have a few seconds to talk about that? No, I just need to know the ones to zero. Oh, Mr. Johnson of Ohio. I literally don't even think I can make it through this whole entire questioning anymore. After Mr. Johnson, I am going to quit. I'm going to quit watching this because it's making my blood boil. Because if they have 10 more people say the same thing over and over again, oh, it's killing kids, it's killing our people, it's really ruining everybody's lives, TikTok is so horrible. I want to know, does the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, are they involved and are they trying to infiltrate America and America's government, the military, and our secrets? And how can they get our secrets? Through TikTok. If they are, we need to ban them. If they're not, do whatever you need to do to fix the put some regulations on them so that they can't cuss or whatever you want to do. There's no pornography, there's no killings. Fix it. And I'm so tired of this circus. It's a complete circus. And all those people are doing is acting. They're actors. That's all they are. These Congress people, they act like they're so... One guy looked like he was almost going to cry. I'm going to cry. Like, you literally are so bad. I might cry. Oh, you're a great actor, man. All right, Mr. Johnson, get this over with and I'll finish my reaction. Go.
It's a yes or no question. Have you directed your engineers to change that source code?
I'm not sure I understand.
I don't understand
allowing
either.
TikTok to continue to have the capacity for censorship, and yet you claim here that you don't. Let me remind
doesn't.
you of something. Do you realize that making false and misleading statements to Congress is a federal crime?
Yes.
No.
So have you directed your engineers to change that source code?
I am giving third-party access monitoring by experts, and Congressman, you are an expert on this. You could agree with me.
What percentage
that no
of
other company
TikTok
does
source
this.
code is the same as Doan? What percentage?
I can get back to you on the specifics.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Where was the source code for TikTok developed? Was it developed in China or in the United States?
It's a global collaborative effort, like a lot of
Was it
code for a
developed
lot of
in,
companies.
was it developed in China? Some of it?
Some of it is.
Okay, at ByteDance.
There we go.
When it's compiled in the compilation process, can bytecode be manipulated? We've talked a lot about source code. What about the bytecode, the ones and zeros that actually execute on the device? Can
to
it
give
be
you comfort,
manipulated? Yes.
Congressman, to give you comfort, that's why we're giving third-party monitors.
Yes.
As an expert, I think you can agree that very few companies
I've got
offer
the
to do this.
report here by Citizen Lab. I want to read you something from Ron Diebert. Specifically, in your written testimony to Congress, you stated on page 9, Citizen Lab found that there was no overt data transmission by TikTok to the Chinese government and that TikTok did not contact any servers within China. You implied that Citizen Lab exonerated TikTok from any information sharing with China. Well, the director of Citizen Lab saw this and issued a statement correcting the record yesterday. And I'm quoting Ron Diebert, the director of the lab. I am disappointed that TikTok executives continue citing the Citizen Lab's research in their statements to government as somehow exculpatory. I've called them out on this in the past, and it's unfortunate that I have to do it again, unquote. He goes on to say, and I quote, we even speculated about possible mechanisms through which the Chinese government might use unconventional techniques to obtain TikTok user data via pressure on ByteDance, end of quote. Mr. Chu, you sent Congress written testimony citing this lab as a support of your claim that China cannot access user data, U.S. user data. And now this lab has come out to say, we never said that. That's misleading, Mr. Chu. I hope you understand what that is. That's misleading. Mr. Chu, this is yet another instance of TikTok attempting to mislead Americans about what their technology is capable of and who has access to their information. Madam Chair, I'd like to
Madam Chair, I would
enter
like
the
to respond to
statement
that
by
very
Ron
quickly,
Diebert
please.
and the Citizens Lab.
Can he
into the
respond?
record.
Without objection, so
With that, I
ordered.
yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair yields to the gentleman from Maryland. Mr. Sarbanes, 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm done. I am so done. The bottom line is, Mr. Chu, has been there 2 years. He's a pawn. He doesn't know what's going on. He wants to respond. These guys have to do their drama queen stuff about how horrible everything is. And then they can vote and put together their bill and figure out what they're going to do. But there's nothing that I can see other than, is China involved? Yes, China's involved. Is the Communist Party involved? Yes, they're involved. Can they get it to where it's sold to an American, it's a public company, and we can figure out how to not to give it to China? Probably give data to China? Probably not. They're probably going to have to cancel TikTok because of that, because of the national security risks. All the other stuff, whatever they do, it's coming down the pike, people. Social media is going to be, I don't even know who's going to make up what kind of algorithms have to be done. Who's the most political extremist people out there? Is it the Republicans? Is it the Democrats? And who's going to shut the other one up? And what can we do to shut each other up and suppress all the information that we all want? It's all coming down the pike. And you know what it is? It's ruining us. Our government is ruining us. We're all infighting because of them. And we're infighting because of misinformation. We're infighting. And it all boils down to technology, stupidity, ignorance, and no common sense. That is my reaction. Common sense is gone. You can take a kid to the doctor and have his balls cut off, and you don't have to tell the parents, and the parents don't have to be responsible for their kids at all. They don't have to be responsible for the technology. They don't, I mean, the parents have no say-so whatsoever, but we got to protect the children. But if you want to give them to cut their balls off, go ahead and cut their balls off. That's fine. They can make decisions when they're 6 years old that they want to be a girl and they're a boy. They can make those decisions without the parents. But you can't give them an aspirin. You know, you can't. We just can't, because that's, you know, irresponsible. And we need to silence everybody who disagrees with us. And we're going to do that through social media. That is my reaction today. So until the next one, we'll have to see. I'll have to just go watch the news and see what they say. What is the analysis? All the pundits are going to get on there and tell us their analysis, and it's all going to be skewed to what they believe. And we just saw the real deal. So until the next time, I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys, we are on the same page. It's these people that are so screwed up. So until the next one, peace.